is it important to talk to our children about number 3? What's good, John Lonnie Appleton? If you have a couple of minutes, I am talking about the 4 different phases of how we view death and life. And this is just according to me, so, we have already talked about number 1 and number 2, and we are now doing a deep dive into number 3. I wanted to do a deep dive into this because a lot of us, whether we're speaking up about it or we're not, a lot of us are dealing with this. And a lot of us that are dealing with this are dealing with children who haven't even hit puberty yet. So there's something, I believe, that our children are being exposed to that lets them think that this is an out. And we have to stop coming from a space where we're like, man, your life is good, what's up? Because that's where I looked at. I'm just like, what you got to be depressed about? I don't get it. But the thing is, even though I don't get it, I still got my child in therapy. I still got my child the support. I still shifted the energy of how we are communicating and socializing with each other in our home. We did everything we need to support her, even though I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to make sure that even though we don't understand where our kids are coming from, we still do what's necessary for them to be successful and to remain on this earth as long as possible. But I wanted to tell the story of the first time I heard about number 3. I had to be 7 or 8 years old, and the news was on. I was watching the news with my father, and it said a mass group of people did number 3. And I was like, dang, I want a number 3. And my dad was like, what did you just say? And the way that he responded to me, I was like, dang, I done fucked up. And so I was like, nothing. Actually, I don't come from the nothing generation. My kids tell me nothing all the time. My generation, you say nothing and you in for something. So I repeated what I said, but I dropped a few octaves. You know what I'm saying? I want to number 3. And my dad slapped the shit out of me and I flew across the room. And I was like, I definitely messed up. And my dad commenced to say, I better not hear you ever say that again. You can hear me? And I'm like, yes, I'm scared to death. I ain't even got a number 3. You about to kill me. And so I was just like, what did I do? He never explained to me what I did. I didn't even know what it was. What's good, y'all? Oh, that was premature. My bad. Let's talk the different stages of death per me. What's good, y'all? Lonnie Appleton here. If you have a couple minutes, I'm talking about the different views of death. According to me, I wrote backwards for you guys for the mirroring effect. I hope that when I actually look at this video, they didn't flip it backwards. Just the one time they flipped my stuff right? Anyway, we already talked number 1 in previous videos, number 2 in previous videos. We really got in depth of my personal story with why parents need to actually talk to their children instead of how my father responded, where he just slapped the shit out of me and told me to never say that again. But I didn't know what it was. I just heard it on the news and a bunch of people were doing it because it was a mass. And I was like, I want to do it too. And I got slapped across the room for saying that and never told what was wrong with what I said. So when our children come to us, 1, we cannot discount what they're going through just because their life is cushy. We have seen multimillionaires jump out of buildings. You know what I'm saying? So we can't assume just because we have created this life for our children that they're okay. We have to listen to them and talk to them and check in with them. And if they say they need help, get them the help that they need, because you can doubt your child and say, and then something unfortunate happens. And all you had to do was get them in with the therapist. All you had to do was give them what they said they needed. My child said her sister and my husband were her problem. So I pulled her sister and my husband aside and I was like, look, let's get this together. I'm gonna check myself, but you check yourself and you check yourself. And we're all going to check ourselves. Because if all it takes for us to do is to check ourselves, to keep this child on this earth a little bit longer, that's what we're going to do. So please, if your child comes to you with the number 3, take it seriously. That was a bar, but I don't know if that's appropriate in this conversation. But please don't mess up. Ooh, and you know I wrote backwards. Okay, I didn't mess it up. But what I'm saying is, take it seriously. Get your child the support they need. Get yourself the support you need if you're suffering. Because in a previous video when we first started talking about this, I suffered in my 30s, bouts in my 20s, bouts in my teens, bouts in my childhood. But thank God I was able to come to number 4 after a long period in number 1 to be able to get to number 4. What's good, y'all? Lonnie Appleton here. I don't know how I got on this macabre ass topic, but let's talk about it. We don't talk about death and we don't talk about sex. And that's why we are dying and that's why we are frying. I just had to get the bar. I had to, but it makes sense because STDs have you burning and so you're frying. It makes sense. All right, y'all. Did I introduce myself? Lonnie Appleton here. If you have a couple minutes, I have a couple of messages. We are talking death and all that other stuff. But yeah, because we don't talk about those subjects and those things, how many of you guys have life insurance? Why? Even when I was talking to my husband, I've always had life insurance since I've had Bailey. But I was talking to Dre when we first got together. I was like, we need to get life insurance on you. And he was like, I ain't dying. And I was like, it ain't got nothing to do with you dying. We are doing such a disservice to our next generation by not getting life insurance policies. And I'm not sure which policy to get. I am not really savvy on the financial side. I could save some money because I don't ever want to be poor again. But otherwise, that's the next leg of my journey, is to get the financial piece. I got every other thing about my life together except for the finance side. But we gonna get there because whenever I speak something that I want to do, it happens. That's something I've noticed about myself. And I want to figure finances out, so I will. But anyway, you know, we're doing our future generations a disservice by not getting life insurance policies. You know, supposedly, young Sip T, don't listen to me. Can I say it? Bars. Anyway, you know, they sank the Titanic on purpose because of an insurance claim. The insurance claim that they did on the Titanic. And word on the curb is they switched the boats out. It was identical boat type situation. You know, something you're gonna learn about me is when I'm telling some history, I know 50%. So some of what I say is gonna be true and the rest is gonna be something I made up. So you just take out, decipher what you need. But I think they switched out the boats and they said it was the Titanic because they wanted to do an insurance claim. Because anybody, because it was supposed to be all the hoity-toities, they're supposed to get up on the boat, you know, for its maiden voyage or whatever. But everybody who was anybody who was related to whoever owns the boat, I can't think of the bank's name, yeah, they didn't get on that boat. They knew not to get on that boat. But everybody else got their ass up on that boat, and it was an insurance claim. And like I said, JP Morgan Chase, I think, is still around today. So you are doing your family a disservice by not getting insurance.